So I have an esoteric side note here for you. I think that our astrology, so the planetary alignment, is like a blueprint for our expression and for our key learnings while we're here on Earth. If you're not down with that as a paradigm, as a belief system, that's cool. You don't have to be signing up for that in order to get the most out of this releasing visualization and meditation experience we're about to do. But just hang with me for a minute on this. I think that our astrology maps out the big events and our soul qualities, and then how we color it in while we're here with our free will and all sorts of mystery sort of fleshes out our lives. So, if that's also your perspective, and if you're down with referencing the planets and the stars, then you will appreciate what I'm about to say. Esoterically speaking, I have been taught that friendships, relationships, all forms of intimacy are activated through planetary transits. So, a more poetic way of saying that is that our relationships are directed by our astrology, and a planetary transit is a set passage. It's a passage of particular planets. And that passage, that planetary transit, is guiding our particular relationships. And when that transit is over, then the friendship can shift. It can dissolve, it can transform into another expression, or it can come to an end on this plane. This probably is a really good time to mention that I collaborate with an energy healer. They go by the initials VS. And I do that in order to clarify and get direction on all of my meditation and visualization offerings. And here's what VS has to say about relationships and astrology. And I'm quoting: when the planetary alignments are moving to create new circuitries in the outer and inner worlds, the relationship will be energetically considered to be done. If intimacy and sexual relationships are based on more than just physical and surface level attraction, if there is a soul level depth to the relationship container, then such intimate relationships will flow with the tide and morph into another planetary transit and then circle back into a more sexual nature once the new transit has ended. However, most ego centered relationships will not be able to withstand the changing of the tides and will come to a closure in a given incarnation. If the karma has been purified, the souls will meet again in perceived more pleasant circumstances. And if the karma still needed to be purified, the souls will pick it up again in another incarnation. All right. So there's your esoteric check-in. The best definition of karma that I have ever been given is unhealthy attachments. Super simple way of perceiving this. Unhealthy attachments that consciously or unconsciously lead to constrictions, to bindings, to blocks on this level, on an elemental level. You know, they mess with the flow. It's an unhealthy attachment. Let me give you my personal interpretation of all of this, my personal interpretation on what I think, and my esoteric guidance and education through working with an energy healer and numerous teachers. We move as the planets move. We move as the planets move because we are all interconnected, as above, so below. So I really believe that the planetary alignments give us a map of the lessons we will be learning. They can come in so many forms. We can step up to them or step back from them in any way our free will is directing us. So certain people will show up to be students and teachers with us in accordance with where the planets are at. We are reflecting that dynamic. And when the class time is up, when the planets shift into their next position, that cues our own internal changes, which can mean a shift in the relationship. And if we've sorted out our karma in a relationship, then we can circle back with that same person for a lighter, a lighter time, an even more enjoyable time. So that karma sorting and cleansing and rectifying can happen in a couple months. It can happen over a couple decades, a couple years, but we will work through that. That is the essence of a soul-based relationship, to help us expand and move into our heart center. And as we do that, we're burning the karma, and we'll have more fun. If we don't do that, if it's still kind of janky and contentious, and we haven't found more love in our hearts for each other, or for the dynamic, for the relationship container itself, then, we might possibly, likely meet again in another incarnation to complete the learning with that person. I find this highly inspiring, by the way, in my own life, to just like be the love and get it right in that respect. And by get it right, I don't mean, avoiding any punitive results, but by get it right, I mean to live from the heart. Yeah.